Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp has officially signed into law one of the most restrictive abortion laws in the country. Now, this is referred to as a fetal heartbeat law, and it is not the first state that has passed this. And the whole point is to go through the courts and hopefully end up in the Supreme Court, where of course there is a conservative slant among the judges, and essentially completely shut down Roe v. Wade, reverse Roe v. Wade. So let me give you the details. The Georgia law, which would take effect in 2020, prohibits most abortions once doctors can discern a fetal heartbeat, a milestone that occurs before some women, most women, know they are pregnant. In practice, the limit on abortion in Georgia will now be 6 weeks of pregnancy instead of 20. So let me just note that previously, all of these red states under the Obama administration were trying to pass these abortion bans past 20 weeks. And the way that they did it made it seem as though they were being reasonable. Look at 20 weeks, look at how developed the fetus is. And they would sway even people on the left. But everyone who was paying close attention knew that that was just a facade, or that was just an avenue in which they would further restrict abortion to the point where it would be illegal. And that's exactly what they're trying to do here. Now, exemptions are allowed according to this law to prevent death or serious harm to the woman, and in cases of rape or incest in which a police report has been filed. So if you are the victim of rape or incest and you get pregnant as a result of that, you are not allowed to get an abortion unless you went to the police and you filed a police report on it.
So Alabama has gone further, or is trying to go further. It's in debates right now. In one of their legislative chambers, they do not make an exception for rape or incest. So if you have been raped, the Sharia law in Alabama could be that because of someone else's religion, you must carry your rapist child to term. And in that case, there is no 6 weeks, there is no nothing. It just simply outlaws abortion.
Can I actually talk about what happened in Alabama when it came to that legislation? They were actually supposed to vote on that today. And the reason why they decided to table it is because some of those state lawmakers fought back, and they did so aggressively. So I just wanna spread the word that fighting back works. It works, and it certainly worked here. Now, of course, they're gonna reintroduce the legislation next week, but you've gotta keep fighting, because if you don't fight, then they're gonna get everything they want. We know how the right wing works. They're relentless, and it's about time that the left wing is just as relentless, if not more, especially when it comes to protecting reproductive freedoms.
Two more things about Alabama. They're not playing when they say make it illegal. They say the doctor who performs an abortion would get 99 years in prison, a life sentence, okay? They say that the abortion is illegal as soon as the fetus is in utero. In other words, all abortions, obviously. There are no abortions that aren't in utero. But the reason that they had the fight was actually somewhat of a procedural one, but one that makes a lot of sense. Because the Republicans tried to pass it on a voice vote. They're like, all in favor, aye, okay, good enough, let's pass it, right? And the Democrats said, no, we want to get everybody on the record. Now, why? In the state of Alabama, you would think that the anti-abortion position would be popular, and that the Republicans would be proud to be on the record as ending abortion, but they don't want to do that. You want to know why? Now, this is not specific to Alabama, it's for the whole country. Let's go to graphic 40. 71% of Americans, including, and this is a little shocking, 50% of Republicans oppose overturning Roe versus Wade. So the great majority of the country is on our side. They think that Roe versus Wade should be the law of the land. So since most Americans are pro-choice, 7 out of 10, not even close. Even the Republicans in Alabama don't want to go on the record as actually doing it. So are you in favor of it or are you not? Are you proud of it or are you not? I thought you ran all of your campaigns on this. Now, you know what those Republicans in Alabama understand? That if they are successful and they actually outlaw abortion, there's gonna be enormous blowback. And this goes to the problem with Democratic and independent voters. They just believe that they're, because of what television tells them, that Republicans and Democrats are the same thing. On some issues, when it comes to corporate matters, it's true, and it comes to favoring the tax, it's true. But on issues like abortion, they're not remotely the same thing, not at all. That's a total lie. If you vote for a Republican, they will try to take away your liberty. And that is what it is. They will have big government impose Sharia law and tell you what to do with your body, not based on your beliefs, not based on your religion or your interpretation of your religion, but based on their interpretation of their religion. That is Sharia law. It happens to be fundamentalist Christian Sharia law, but Sharia law anyway. That is what Republicans believe. If you don't believe them, put them in office, see what happens. You think it's just Alabama and Georgia? First of all, Georgia is now a purple state. If they didn't do voter suppression, it would have a Democratic governor and would not pass this law. Stacey Abrams would have vetoed this law. So they barely won in Georgia. Ohio passed the same law. So if you vote for a Republican, understand you're giving away your freedom. If you're a woman, they're gonna tell you what you can and cannot do with your body. They're gonna have big government come in and put in religious law that dictates what to do with your body. It is not remotely an exaggeration. That is a stone cold fact. If you like that and you like being guided by somebody else's religion and you don't want control over your body, then all right, vote Republicans. If you don't, you should vote them all out of office.
So I want to go to Governor Kemp from Georgia. He had a signing ceremony for this legislation, and I found what he had to say during the ceremony fascinating. Let's take a look.
We must protect life at all stages. We must remember our higher calling, and we must remember to work in the days, months, and years ahead.
So he says we have to protect life at all stages. But if you look at simple statistics in the state of Georgia, it's abundantly clear that the lawmakers there do not actually care about life in all stages. In fact, Georgia is not doing well at all when it comes to the economic situation for a lot of people, including children. And I'm not talking about zygotes, I'm not talking about fetuses, I'm talking about children, living, breathing children that Republicans always turn their backs on because they don't have the ability to control women once the children are born. So let me give you the details on that. Let's go to graphic 6. So let's take a look at their poverty statistics. So 14.9% of Georgia's overall residents are below the poverty line, okay? When it comes to children, that statistic goes up to 20.7%. 20.7% of children are living in poverty in the state of Georgia. Is Kemp concerned about that? Are the right-wing lawmakers spending any time trying to alleviate the pain that these people are feeling? No, they're much more concerned about what's happening in a woman's uterus. Let me give you some more details.
And to be fair, he did throw some bootstraps at the 1-year-olds. Oh, you're out of the uterus now, don't care, here's some bootstraps. You got good health, you don't have good health, your mom might die in childbirth. Those are healthcare issues, don't care. Your life, don't care. All I care about is, what are you gonna do with your body? You must follow my religion, and you must do as I tell you. That's not America. You hate America if you believe that. You wanna be pro-life? You wanna say, hey, listen, to me, it is life. That's my interpretation of my faith. Have at it, Hoss. We don't disagree with that. Then you make those decisions for yourself, but not for the rest of us. That is un-American.
More details. The teen birth rate in Georgia was already high. So for instance, in Georgia, there is a birth rate of 23.6 babies per 1,000 girls. That's in 2016. Again, these are teenagers, ages 15 to 18. In Massachusetts, it's 8.5 per 1,000 girls in 2016. And I included Massachusetts to juxtapose just how bad it already was in the state of Georgia. So are there any educational programs in the state to do other than abstinence-only education to prevent teen pregnancies, right? Because if you care about abortion so much, wouldn't it make more sense to educate the youth there, to provide resources to prevent unwanted pregnancies? That way abortions don't happen?
I know, Anna, but Ayatollah Kemp's Sharia law says that you also cannot decide what to do with your body when you are when you're making decisions about who you're going to love, who you're going to sleep with, any kind of activity you might have. You don't get to make those decisions. Ayatollah Kemp makes those decisions for you. So you want education so you don't get accidentally become a mom when you're a teenager or pregnant when you're a teenager and have to face those incredibly difficult decisions? Don't care. We're gonna make sure you do not get that information. That is why, ironically, there's more abortions in Georgia, not less. It turns out ignorance is not a good solution.
Exactly. And again, Kemp argues that we need to protect life of all ages. Well, 27.2% of people living in Georgia did not have health insurance in 2017. Yeah, we're really great at protecting life in Georgia, aren't we?
30,000 people a year die because they don't have health insurance. 30,000, that's 10 9/11s every single year. But Republicans like Ayatollah Kemp say, I don't care if you die in the streets. As long as a private company is not making profit off of it, I don't care, go die, okay? And then turns around and says, no, I'm pro-life. Why? Because I'm gonna tell a woman who she can sleep with, when she can sleep with them, and what happens to her body afterwards. That's who Ayatollah Kemp is, and all these people are the right wing who favor a big government controlling our bodies.
And I'm bringing up all of these statistics because these are issues that actually impact living, breathing human beings that the right wing in America pretends to care about when they're looking to get elected, but do nothing about. In fact, only push for counterproductive measures that make it increasingly difficult for average Americans to live above the poverty line. I'm talking about people who are working full-time jobs, but then you have Republicans working to keep the minimum wage as low as humanly possible, so their full-time jobs don't even pay enough for them to get by or feed their children. In fact, 13% of households in Georgia were food insecure on average from 2015 to 2016. So why aren't the lawmakers in Georgia doing something about that? Why? I'd like to know. Because if you care about life, this is impacting people's lives every single day in your state.
And as I've told you numerous times, Numbers 5:20 through 22 in the Bible shows you that God is in favor of abortion, not neutral to it, in favor of abortion. So read your Bible. Ayatollah Kemp, if you're gonna go around enforcing your Bible on other people, you should at least read it and know what's in it, because you're wrong about that as well. So if you don't want religious law in America, don't vote for Republicans, because they do not agree. They will try to enforce their interpretation of their religion on all of us. It is the single most un-American thing you could do. The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.